I found my calling when I was in 10th grade. It all started when I spoke to my high school counselor for the first time about problems that I was having, and I automatically felt a connection with her because I was able to talk to her about things that I wasn't able to talk to my parents about. So this made me realize that I would like to be this kind of person for somebody else. So it became my dream to become a counseling psychologist slash social worker. A counseling psychologist and social worker need efficient interpersonal communication skills because they associate with all kinds of people on a day-to-day basis. And this speech class has gone a lot into depth about the kinds of skills that I'm going to need in this occupation. It's important for counseling psychologists and social workers to be able to adapt to their patients' comfort level. Their needs must be met in order to have a successful session. For the patient to feel comfortable, the psychologists have to acquire certain communication skills in order to make that attainable. The kind of job description that goes behind counseling psychologists and social workers is that they help others solve and cope with their everyday problems. And they also diagnose people with emotional, mental, and behavioral issues. The kind of environment that counseling psychologists and social workers are in varies. They can end up in hospitals, schools, child welfare, human service agencies, mental health clinics, you name it. And they mainly work full-time. This can include evenings, weekends, and or holidays. The kind of education level that one needs to obtain in order to be in this occupation is generally their bachelor's degree. For clinical social workers, they need to have their master's degree, along with a 2 years experience in a clinical setting and being licensed within their residential state. They're constantly changing their environments, so they need to be able to adapt to these different types of settings with their interpersonal communication skills. For example, they could have self-harming patients, and self-harming patients are very sensitive people. It's a very touchy subject, and it's a very hard thing to talk about. So the kind of skills that one would need to have would be confidence in assessing and dealing with the problems effectively, and coming forward with an empathetic approach. I mean, you're going to have all kinds of patients in general, so you're going to need problem solving, listening, and compassion skills. In my opinion, I think listening is the most important skill. I think this because listening has been proven to have more positive outcomes within patients. It allows the patients to think for themselves. And this class has taught me a lot about showing empathy while listening, like posing questions about what the person is talking about so they know that you're being attentive to what they're saying. And this class has also showed me how to be more open-minded and how to not get so defensive and avoiding conflicts, and to have the appropriate body language with what I'm saying and how I'm feeling. Basically, I've learned how to engage myself with other people's concerns, and this is the kind of quality you need to be a counseling psychologist or social worker. Listening, it obviously isn't the only important skill that you need to be successful in the psychology field. However, it is the one that stood out to me the most because I feel like when I talk to people about their problems, I tend to talk too much. I give out more advice than what what I'm receiving from the person themselves. And you know, I've learned not to be like that because it's really important for the person to be able to solve this problem themselves. I'm only here to help them solve it, not tell them what they need to do to solve their own problems. So this is exactly why it stood out to me the most. And overall, you need interpersonal communication skills in the psychology field. There's no doubt about that. So I've just learned that that's the key component to it. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Very informative.